Hi, I'm Marcus Jackman. I'm the pastor at Copper Hills Church in Harriman, Utah. It's a hard time to be talking to our kids, isn't it? We've all gotten questions. What is coronavirus? Why are people rioting? Why do people love or hate this or that politician or this or that thing? And it's difficult, right? But it's our job. The heart of our children and the heart of our response shared with them matters. It's going to matter going forward, and it matters right now. The way of wisdom to follow the Lord's heart is to seek to remain tender and to coach our children in continuing tenderness, especially when this time threatens to polarize all of us, to harden our hearts, to solidify our opinions so we don't listen to anybody else. We need to foster tender hearts. Proverbs 31 is an example of what that begins to look like. Now, this is a longer passage. I'm going to read it out and just talk broadly about it. But please pay attention at the very beginning. What is it? This is an oracle that the king's mother taught him. Proverbs 31, 1 through 9. The words of King Lemuel, an oracle that his mother taught him. What are you doing, my son? What are you doing, son of my womb? What are you doing, son of my vows? Do not give your strength to women, by which she means seeking after women, seeking sexual conquest and seeking sexual satisfaction, not just women as a danger, as a gender, but that pursuit. It says, do not give your strength to women, your ways to those who destroy kings. Those kinds of addictions, those kinds of pursuits, they destroy kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, or for rulers to take strong drink, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed, and pervert the rights of all the afflicted. This is not saying nobody gets to drink. This is talking about making wine your pursuit, strong drink your escape, lest they drink and forget what has been declared by the Lord. What has the Lord decreed? What has he declared about the afflicted and the needy? Give strong drink to the one who is perishing, and wine to those in bitter distress. Let them drink and forget their poverty and remember their misery no more. Open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all who are destitute. Open your mouth, judge righteously, defend the rights of the poor and the needy. This is not saying let's just get the poor roaring drunk. That will fix them or that will ease them. But it says that escape is not for the king because the king has a greater responsibility. But it can be okay for someone to try to seek to find some joy. It does not endorse drunkenness. It does not endorse abuse of alcohol. That would be missing the point of this context. It's saying they're just trying to get by. You, O king, have a responsibility. The emphasis is on our responsibility to the poor and the needy. What's she doing? What's the king's mother doing? So what are you doing, son of my vows, son of my womb? She's giving the king, as a child, her heart for the afflicted. She's sharing her heart for engaging and doing good and blessing others. She's sharing that tender heart, and that's affected the king. Here we are, years later. The king remembers his mother's words. Our call, our need right now as parents in this exceptionally hard time is not to harden our hearts, but to make sure we foster tender hearts in ourselves and to share those hearts with our children, because that's going to make a difference going forward. And one of the main ways we do that is continuing to have a heart after the Lord's heart, after the Lord's values. We've seen so many times in Proverbs, I haven't even mentioned an eighth of them to you as we've gone through these devotions, seeing the Lord's heart for the needy and afflicted, and the actions that accompany that heart. That's what we're called to do and to share as parents, having a heart and to act for the weak, the mute, those who can't speak for themselves, the destitute, and the poor. That's the only manner that counts, spiritually speaking, right? It's the only thing that counts going forward, not being right, not defending ourselves, not defending or attacking a political party or a particular position. What's our heart? That's what our kids are going to pick up. What is our heart? We are not done with all our turmoil in the United States, with COVID, with masks, with the economy, with the election, with racial tension. We're not done with it. However much we wish we were, however much we are fatigued by this all. And it's hard to remain engaged and still tender, right? But spiritually speaking, you and I are absolutely destitute and desperate. Spiritually speaking, the only thing that's going to last truly, it means that we are the helpless ones. And our King did not seek his own escape, but he laid down his life for us. Spiritually speaking, he was wisdom itself for us on our behalf. How can we live this life now as if that weren't true, as if that shouldn't change my choices, as if my heart and my awareness of my need wouldn't then affect my tenderness toward those who have other kinds of needs that are maybe more visible right now? How could we do otherwise if we have been rescued by the Lord Jesus Christ, his life, his death, his resurrection? How we respond. I know it's tiring. I know we're all tired of the questions, but how we respond right now is going to make a difference going forward. It's going to make a difference maybe in the world, but certainly in the lives of our children, certainly in the lives of our friends. What are we coaching each other in? Are we coaching each other in tender-heartedness? Or are we coaching each other in shutting ourselves down and hardening our hearts and rehearsing the wrongs and evils of others? What are we doing? Are we seeking wisdom? May God give us the grace to seek his face, to understand the depth of our need and the greatness of our rescue so that we would be tender to others. Even though it's hard, even though it costs, even though it may not seem like it's worth it all the time. It is the Lord's heart, the Lord who rescued you. How could we do otherwise? Bless you today.